If God is all powerful and all good, then why does suffering and evil exist in the world? This is one of the questions that we find asked in the book of Job. You see, Job lived during the time of the patriarchs in the book of Genesis and endures great suffering. He loses his children, loses his material possessions and wealth, even loses his health. And though Job doesn't know it, the beginning of the book shows us that there's a behind the scenes conversation in heaven between God and Satan, the adversary. And what we find out is that God is allowing Job to go through all of these things sort of as a test to show that God's glory was the greatest thing in Job's life. Now, in these 42 chapters, what you're going to see is a lot of philosophical ideology, a lot of thoughts on life, and these friends of Job come and even criticize Job and say, "Hey, you need to change this. You are doing something wrong." And in the midst of even our suffering, questions like that could rise up. Assertions can be made many times of why we're having to endure like we are. And yet, what the book of Job teaches us is first that God is completely sovereign. He is over all things, even Satan and the demonic realm. God has ultimate authority. Second is that mankind is sinful. Now, though Job did nothing wrong to bring about this pain that he endured, this suffering that he had, Job, just like us, was a sinful, wretched creature. Every one of us has made mistakes. We all fall short of the glory of God. And the book of Job is a reminder that ultimately suffering comes from sin, the sin of humanity. But one of the greatest blessings in the book of Job is how it points us to the promise of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Yes, even the book of Job points us to the gospel, because in the very middle of the book, Job cries out, "I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand on that day, and I will see him. Even when my flesh fails and falls, I will see my Redeemer," speaking of this great Messiah, Jesus Christ. At the end of the book of Job, we find out that Job says, "God, I knew of you, I had heard of you, but now I have seen you." And this is one thing that suffering allows us to do. It lets us see the hand of God in the midst of our pain. And Job was blessed even double what he had had before. This is a reminder for us as believers in Jesus Christ that though we endure temporary suffering today, it does not compare to the glory that we will see in heaven, especially the glory of our Savior, Jesus.